Welcome to this demo of Dakshraya, and today I'll be showcasing you our tender generation and tender evaluation capabilities. For tender generation, we'll be visiting the system of the Gujarat Mineral Development Corporation Limited. Here, we generate multiple types of tenders across various departments. The entire application uses Oracle Autonomous Database and Oracle Apex as a front end, and on the back end, we are using Oracle GenAI through Cohere Command R Plus and our own compute on OCI to host the entire solution. So I'll just log into the system. And once we have logged in, you can see that some previous generated tenders are shown here. You can download them, or let's create a new tender so that I can take you through the process. So the first form which we have to do is select the RFP type. So they do three types of RFPs: consultancy, service, supply and service. So let's take consultancy. Then we can just give a tender title like procurement of AI services for GMDC IT, and we can give it a short tender title. Location. Now this data comes directly from the GMDC's SAP module. So all the locations of GMDC SAP are directly mapped here. So let's take it as corporate. Similarly with department, we have the list of departments as per their SAP environment. Contract duration. Serial number is auto generated. Financial year is again we can select. If we don't, we can also leave it blank, and month we can give it as December. Now here we can select whether it will be QCBS or L1. If we give QCBS as no, it will automatically take the L1 format. If we take QCBS as yes, it will take the QCBS format. So let's take QCBS as yes. By default, the value for QCBS will depend on what similar tenders it is able to find. Mostly in the case of GMDC, it's 70 and 30. We can also set the QCBS value here, but here the customer requested that we only go by 70-30, so that has been something which has been fixed. Next, we give the bidding schedule, where we give the RFP availability date, query deadline, pre-bid meeting date, price bid meeting date. All these can be left blank. What we have to do is we have to give the issuing authority and a contact email. So I'll just give mine as for now. Then the total estimated fee amount, RFP fee amount and the EMD amount. Now these amounts are automatically calculated as per the calculations tables of GMDC. So the RFP fee amount is a ceiling value. So for up to a certain value of tenders, it is rupees 1500. For up to 1 lakh rupees, above 1 lakh rupees, it's 5,000, and all these changes automatically take place. And EMD amount is always 3% of this amount in the case of this organization. So that is also reflected here. Once we have done all this, we can give any special requirement if needed, and we can like procurement and availability of high compute resources. So this is a special request we gave, and now we will generate the scope of work. So once this is generated, it will show up here, and we can also give extension period, deliverables, timelines, and we can then save it and move on to download the tender. So it takes a few seconds to generate the scope of work. So the scope of work is here: project initiation, requirement analysis, gap analysis, feasibility, solution architecture and cloud resource planning, design solution architecture for AI development, leverageable scale cloud infrastructure. So it has also taken care of our special requirements, provide comparison, because since this is a consultancy scope we have selected, the scope of work would be written accordingly to a consultancy contract. Provide strategy and roadmap, implement oversight and vendor coordination, change management and training, monitoring. So it has taken all these similar points from the previously similar tenders of GMDC, which were already poured in from their SAP system, stored in our object storage, from where we took the embeddings, and from that it is a knowledge base for our LLM, and it also gives the suggested timeline, inception, cloud providers, and compute resource assignment, AI solution architecture, and integration roadmap, the entire timeline. All this is editable, so if you want, you can just add in changes here. So I'll write it here, and this will again be changed to the document. We can also give an extension and everything on the timeline, and once we save this, it will take us here. So now this is a tender which we have created. And once we have created these tenders, we can click on download to download the file. Now we'll be going to the tender which was generated by the system. So this was what was generated. So all the title and everything which we gave in the module and the scope of work is reflected here. This is an entire 80-page document with all the scope of work, deliverables, instruction to bidders, introduction, the bidding process. Since we selected QCBS, so it will be taking you to the bid evaluation criteria, which would be QCBS format. This is a rich text file, so again this can be also be completely edited as per required. So as you can see, this is an entire 76-page document which was generated by the system. So it will go in the standard format. Now the best part about this is that anything which needs to be filled by the system which was not generated is highlighted in yellow, so the user's attention is immediately reflected to that. So the background of the problem, brief assignment, SOW, deliverables which we had generated there, and what will be the evaluation cost of bidding, the RFPC which we generated is again reflected here, schedule of bidding, the bid validity, the number of bid and bidders, the EMD deposit. Again, the EMD amount needs to be filled, so it's highlighted in yellow. The documents which are required, the notice inviting tender, clarification of how it will be done. GMDC uses nprocure, so we have already inserted the nprocure links and all the relevant things here. Bid due date, credentials, how the CAMC period is calculated, opening of the financial bid, the evaluation criteria, notice of award, fraudulent and corrupt practices, what will happen, and finally all the annexures, service fees, payments, contract terms and conditions, force majeure. So all the standards of the entire RFP are written by our model and then populated in this document. Again, this is a Word document, so can be edited as per the user requirements. So the next part of Daksh is a tender evaluation system. So for this, we'll be showcasing you the work which we have done for the Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation. So how tender evaluation works is that we have to give a tender document and then the bid documents corresponding to that certain tender document. So I have already given a bid document which is the 500 crore road tender for the AMC, and I have taken a bidder Parikh and Associates and given it 7 files. So let's evaluate the tender. So once we do the evaluation, it is saying that they are having a score of 84 out of 100. And the verdict is conditionally compliant with strong experience and turnover. Now it will give us a detailed criteria of the assessment. The key point to recall here, or the key point here, is that what we do is we take the entire RFP and then we extract the text and then we pass it to our generative AI model. So all the KPIs are already taken care of by the model itself. It reads all the sections. So the first section is eligibility, entity type and participation. This is from the PQ. So these criteria can also be fixed. So if the railways has a very fixed criteria of evaluating parameters, they can be hard coded into the prompt of a generative AI model and it will only be judging on that. But this is more generic, so it will read the entire RFP and do the evaluation on the fly. So the eligibility, entity type and participation restrictions, here you can see form 2. They have proprietorship, Parikh and Associations. They are Indian registered. This is the GST, JV MOU partnership is attached, so they are compliant. Average turnover, again, the average turnover was required to be more than 1 CR in PQ, and for and in Form 2 they have given the CA certificate. So here you can see that the average turnover is more than 1 CR, so they are 100% compliant. The key point to note here is that the model does not get confused by the type of values there are. So if even the value was here in lakhs, it will convert it to CR and do the calculations. Similarly, for minimum experience, it has shown that Form 2 shows that they have been working since 1993 and they are CPWD Class 3. All India includes All India list includes this company, and they are also ORDA AMC compliant. Now for experience in AMC, what happens is that you can either submit one experience of X value, or two work orders of a lesser value, or three of even lesser value. So they have a tier based criteria for pre-qualification when it comes to experience, and we have again mapped the same logic here. So either they can go for option 1, minimum 2 assignments of greater than 25 CR, and this is the criteria they qualify, and it is saying that they have done this central government PWD Delhi road number 43 street scraping, where the estimated value was 36.42 CR and the completion value was 58.9 CR. And the second project which they have done is multiple AMC iconic road consultancy assignments with these project costs. So it qualifies the criteria of having two minimum assignments of more than 25 CR. Then they specifically asked for assignments between 1 Jan 2016 and 31st May 2023. So yes, they are compliant. Now we will go to something which they are not compliant, which is the minimum technical staff on payroll. So what they have done in their bid is that they did provide the CVs, but I did not give it to the model because I wanted to show non-compliance here. So here we have just given them a list of all the personnel, but the model is saying that you must attach payroll list CVs, qualifications, experiences, which is something required by the RFP, but we haven't. So it is showing that this is not compliant and missing. It also gives you gaps to close. Like in Form 5 and 6, we have not populated the assignment details properly. Not blacklisted certificate is not there. And it also gives the recommendations that what would be required to fulfill the RFPs. So this is the evaluation system. Thank you for the opportunity for us to showcase our systems. If you have any questions, please do let us know.